So here's the big question. How are entrepreneurs like us, who have been hustling and struggling to make it to success, who seem to make it one step forward only to fall two steps back, who are dedicated, determined, and driven, how do we finally break through and win? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brian Kelly, and this is the Mind, Body, Business Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind, Body, Business Show. Oh, man, I've been so excited for this episode because I have a dear friend coming on, a gentleman that you are going to absolutely love, probably as much as I do. His name is Rahz Slaughter. He is an amazing, amazing young man, a great businessman person. He loves people. He loves helping kids, and we'll find out more about that as we go through this show. And he's just a very successful person who loves to give back, and that's why I love him. He's an honest individual. He's got integrity and character, everything you'd want in a person that you'd want to be associated with, whether it be through business or friendship or any way possible. Cannot wait to share them with you. We'll do that in just a moment. The Mind, Body, Business Show, it is a show that I had put together with you in mind. This is a show for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs. And I get the extreme pleasure of inviting only the most successful entrepreneurs onto this show. And what that does for you, and the reason that I do that is for you, so that you can simply listen, take notes, and model what they have done to achieve their level of success. It's that simple. Because look, we can all do it ourselves. You are very, very capable. You have incredible intelligence. You have great experience and work ethic. And I know that you could get everything done on your own. The problem is it would take way too long to do it that way because trial and error takes a long time. Why not just find somebody who's figured it out and model, i.e. copy what they do and achieve success faster? Nothing wrong with it, especially when given permission, like by mentors and others who can teach you. So that's what this show is all about. You're going to learn a bunch of great stuff, how to get your business farther forward, faster than ever. And what I found is that the name of this show is based on the 3 pillars of success that I learned by studying only successful people in the past decade plus. And what I found were these 3 patterns kept bubbling to the top of these successful people. It's like, what makes these people more successful than me? I mean, do they put their pants on 2 legs at a time instead of 1? What is it? And after studying people that I know personally that have achieved great success, speakers and authors, others that I've never met that might be an author or a prominent figure, others that may not even be with us anymore, living, and just study them. And those 3 things, as you might imagine, are the title of the show. Mind being mindset. They each, to a person, had a very powerful and, more importantly, very flexible mindset. And then body. That is all about taking care of yourself, both externally through exercise on a regular basis and internally on what you are ingesting. What are you putting into that beautiful, beautiful temple of yours? And then business. Business is multifaceted. It involves mastering various skill sets like marketing, sales, team building, systematizing, leadership. And I could go on and on. If I keep going, I'll fall out of my chair because I kept leaning. And the really great thing about what I get to do, I love what I get to do on this show, and that is extract the strategies and secrets in just a conversational way with my guests that you can then model and learn how to do what they do. And when it comes to learning all of these skill sets, the good news is you don't have to personally master every single one of them. If you master just one of them, and I actually mentioned it by name as in that list as I was falling out of my chair. If you just master this one, then the rest will come so much easier. And that one is the skill set of leadership. When you have mastered the skill set of leadership, you are now armed and ready to delegate those tasks that you have not yet mastered the skill set in that area to others who have. And now you can take your business much farther, much faster than you could ever imagine. And another wonderful trait of very successful people I found in my studies is that to a person, they are very, very voracious readers of the right books. And with that, I like to segue into a little segment I like to affectionately call bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by reachyourpeaklibrary.com.
As a reminder, Rahz Slaughter is in the wings. He's coming on in just a moment. Once I'm done blabbing, he's coming on. It's going to be just a couple of minutes. Real quick, reachyourpeaklibrary.com. Now, I said that on purpose that way. I would like for each one of you, this is for you, not for me, rather than going and typing it and clicking away and taking your attention from what could be one or two golden nuggets that could change your life forever that Rahz is going to give tonight. Rather than do that, instead pull out an old-fashioned, I don't know, maybe a piece of paper. You remember those? A pad? I've got one. I take notes during the show. I run the show, and I write things down. And then visit those resources after the show is over. So take great notes, and then after the show is over, you can go review those items. So reachyourpeaklibrary.com, it is a website I had developed with you in mind. And I get it. It sounds a little cheesy. Come on, Brian, you didn't do this for me. I did, because this serves me no purpose other than to share what I have found to be very profound and very impactful books that I personally have read. And so all of these books in this library are ones that I have read and I have vetted for you so that you can spend less time potentially finding the next great read. And there are quite a few books in here, and just go through it. And the first one that jumps off the page, click on the button and go grab it. Look, it goes to Amazon. I'm not making a killing off of this. This is not for money-making purposes. This is truly my gift to you. So go get it in hardback or paperback or Audible, Kindle, whatever is available that you like to ingest. I personally like Audible. I have an Audible subscription, and so I get to buy books every month. I love it. And that's how I ingested all of these books, was through Audible. And so just go through there, grab a book, because it makes a profound difference if you haven't read in a while or if you haven't begun reading. And here's why I bring this up. I did not start reading until the age of 47, and I am now 56. I mean, I read in grammar school and I learned to read, so don't get that wrong. But I didn't read habitually. I would read articles now and then, but never like a book until I was age 47. I am not kidding. And once I learned it and started absorbing this like a sponge, my life changed profoundly, and I wanted to share it with everybody who was willing to go take a look. And there's a story in there that will help as well. So go check that out, reachyourpeaklibrary.com. Enough of Brian Kelly yakking, okay? It's time to bring on my very dear friend, Rahz Slaughter. Are you ready? Get ready, because this guy brings energy. He's coming on right now.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen. It is the one and the only Rahz Slaughter. How are you doing, my man?
I'm doing fantastic.
Woo, it's so great to see your amazing glowing face again, because my gosh, it's been a long time. We had you on the show some time ago, and we were talking about that right before we came on, how we can't believe how long it's been. But it is, I love always talking to you. I love messaging back and forth on Facebook and text. Anytime I see that name, I just get a big old smile. And all of you are going to find out why here just very, very soon. Before we get deep into this man's beautiful brain, a little bit of housekeeping is in order. You see that nice big red logo right above his left shoulder there? It's right side of your screen if you're watching live on video or recording. If you're listening on podcast, it is thebiginsidersecrets.com. They are our sponsor. And when you stay with us live, if you're not watching live, then go to the mindbodybusinessshow.com and register for free to get notified when, where, and how to access this show live. So you can then enter to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. Compliments once again of the Big Insider Secrets. And you guessed it, there's more. If you're struggling with putting a live show together and it's overwhelming, and you want a lot of the processes done for you while still enabling you to put on a high quality show and connect with great people like Rahz Slaughter and grow your business all at the same time, then head on over to carpetbombmarketing.com. Carpet Bomb Marketing, saturate the marketplace with your message. And one of the key components that is contained in the Carpet Bomb Marketing courses, and this is one that you'll learn how to absolutely master, is the very service we use to stream our live shows right here on the Mind Body Business Show. Now, over the course of over 9 years now, we have tried many of these quote unquote TV studio solutions for live streaming. And I have to tell you, StreamYard is the best of the best. It combines supreme ease of use, and it also has unmatched functionality. And believe me, I've done this a long time now. So start streaming high quality, professional looking live shows for free with StreamYard now. And instead of clicking away, write this down. Once the show is over, you'll want to visit this website, ryp.im/streamlive. RYP stands for Reach Your Peak, name of our company, .im/streamlive, all one word. And now it is time for the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Rahz Slaughter. We're going to have some great fun here tonight. I am so ecstatic to have you on. How are things going there in beautiful Florida, my man?
Brian, man, wow, thank you so much. Glad to be here. Florida is amazing. I'm loving the sun. It's keeping this golden brown glow happy.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, we have some people already jumping on. Hey, Yvonne Saucedo, I see you guys are both, you know each other. That's awesome. And you're saying, oh, let's just show everybody. She's throwing some love. Thank you, Yvonne. And he's throwing some love back. He's saying, miss you, Yvonne Saucedo. Boom. I love that boom that he does. It's awesome. So I'm going to formally introduce you to give you the respect that you deserve, Rahz, and then we're going to jump in. Sound good?
Outstanding. Let's rock.
Here we go. Rahz, the Motivator Slaughter, is a motivational speaker who has spent years helping children and teens improve their mindsets and take care or charge of their lives. And I was thinking as I'm reading this, he is an amazing speaker, ladies and gentlemen. If you need anyone, I mean MC, but primarily to speak on the topic of teens and children and helping their mindset, you do not want to hesitate. You want to call this man. We'll give you his information as we go through the show. This guy, we shared a stage one time, and I had to follow this guy. I'm like, oh my God, this guy is crushing it. This is going to be fun. So you definitely want to check him out. He was born with a disability and raised by a single mother who suffered from addiction. And he was told countless times that he had limitations and that there would be things that he could not do or be or achieve. And despite these messages, Rahz was driven to become unstoppable and set out to create a life of his doing and not what others expected of him. This is powerful. Today, Rahz Slaughter is a motivational speaker and successful business owner. I can attest to that. And he's on another business. He has pivoted. Amazing guy. He is also a competitive athlete, personal trainer. He's got some guns, author, and teen mindset coach. He has spent over 21 years in the fitness business, and it shows, coaching and motivating people to make better life choices and improve their health. One last comment. Rahz's mission is to inspire and motivate 1 million students to become success-driven and motivated to crush life by 2026. Baby, there is so much great juice in that. He's a great speaker. He set a goal. Did you all hear that? He's got a goal, a specific year. He's got a number. He's already teaching us, and he has hardly said a word. Isn't that amazing? That's the kind of guy I invite on my show, is the kind of guy like Rahz Slaughter. And so I want to jump in real quick and just let's get going, Rahz, because there's so much I wanted to cover with you. You are such a amazing person in so many ways. What I love to do is, now that we know about your background, there's so much more to you than just that little blurb, and we all know that. But I like to get deeper. I want to get into that big, beautiful brain of yours and find out what makes you tick. I want to find out, like in the morning when you get up, look, being an entrepreneur, it's super simple, right? We never encounter issues. It's like a walk in the park. It's a piece of cake. It's a breeze. No, it's none of those. And so knowing that when you get up each and every day, there are challenges to confront and there are hurdles to overcome. What is it going on in your beautiful brain when you get up that keeps you motivated? What do you do to start and keep and maintain that positive attitude that I know you have all day long, every day?
It starts out with just knowing that I have a mission and I have a vision, and knowing that that's going to get me out of bed each and every morning. And I know it's going to get me one step closer to that goal. Now, I like to share that every morning I get up, it's a struggle just like anyone watching the show, but it may just be a little bit more of a struggle for me. I wake up, my back hurts, my knee may hurt, my foot may hurt. I'm going through physical changes that I have no control over. But I use a little tip that I learned from Mel Robbins: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up. And I count down, and I do not allow anything to stall me from just getting up and taking action. That first step doesn't feel great, but the second, the third gets a little bit less painful. And that's how I get going every single morning. It's just about doing it and believing that just getting the motion going will get me to where I need to go, to get me warmed up, and then allow me to stay focused on my why, which is my mission.
I love that. And so it's just get going. So now you started the momentum of moving forward in your day. And that's where so many people miss out on success in life. They never even get going. You know, they let all of the other things, the pain, the negative talk that's going on in one's brain, to keep them from even taking that first step, whether it's physical or mental. And I love that you're a great example, because you have physical pain, and that's hard to deal with. And no one likes that. And it can drain you physically, mentally, and quickly. And to the fact that, you know, you wake up by framing your day, let's go do this. I mean, that says a lot. And then I'm sure there has to be some reset buttons along the way during the day when another cringe of pain hits. But I, you know, knowing you and seeing you live and in person and next to you, I would never have known any of that was happening to you in your life. So that's a testament to you and the fact that you're overcoming all of that. And I wish you have no pain. I pray that for you. Let's get that out of there. Gotta have that out. So I know what the answer is to this, and I can't wait, because it's going to give you an opportunity to show everybody something that you've been working on. But would you consider yourself to be an avid reader? I think I know the answer. And I'm not going to ask you what book you're reading right now. Rather than that, I'm going to ask, what book have you written recently?
Great question. I absolutely would consider myself an avid reader. And just like yourself, I love Audible. So I have an Audible account with over 100 titles in there. And I'm consistent with that. And I gamify it. I like to look at my badges and see which ones I need to hit next. But I am proud to say that my wife and I are the new authors of this beauty, which is right here: Student Success Secrets. Yes, unlock the 7 secrets for developing inspired, motivated, and success-driven teens. This is the book, Brian, that I wish I would have had as a tween entering into my teen years. It's something that truly is going to inspire and motivate hundreds of thousands of teens to understand the power of their minds and how to get themselves going, develop discipline and habits for success, and define success for themselves, not their parents, their teachers, their coaches, but learn how to define it for themselves. And I think it's so powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that. But I really believe that this is the book that's going to change so many lives, especially in the times that we're currently in.
And given the example of your backstory, it's like if Rahz can overcome what he overcame, that gives everyone hope, right? No matter what age, in my opinion. It's like, I'm seeing keywords that are jumping up as this is scrolling up, and I just can't imagine what you've gone through with, the physical things you go with every day, and then all the stuff that you were told in your early life. So it's great. What I love about successful entrepreneurs like you, Rahz, is that they're very adept at taking their own life experiences where they've overcome something that was challenging and used that to help others. And that's what makes it such a beautiful and passionate thing that you're doing. And I can tell that, that will be something you will never stop doing, most likely, because you're seeing results when you go to talk to kids. I mean, you go and talk to schools, right?
Absolutely. It's the best part of my day when I get the opportunity to speak for, 60 minutes in a packed auditorium. I know we haven't had that lately. A lot of the presentations have been virtual, but it's just nothing better than finishing out a presentation and having the kids who were in the back of the room, to the left of the room, who were quiet, were looking at me and intently feeling the energy, but was afraid to raise their hands. Has anyone ever been there? Because I know I've been in class or in an audience and didn't want the speaker to see me, but we feel them. And I know you've been there too. And when they come up and they share something so powerful that I shared with them and how they're going to take it home and install it into their lives, it's nothing better than that. I've never had an experience in my life that even comes close.
And isn't it wonderful? I mean, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to get back on a physical stage and talk to physical people instead of just, on video and Zoom and other things and even like right now, there is no substitute for the stage, for the presence of the people, and the fact that when you're speaking and it's having an impact on them as you're speaking and you can see it. Isn't it awesome, Rahz, how no matter how many people are in front of you, you can see everyone from stage? I mean, everything they're doing. It's kind of mind-blowing and it's neat. But you can tell when you've had an impact on somebody. You'll see that change in their posture or their facial expression. And it's just so gratifying, isn't it? I mean, no money in the world could replace that feeling.
Absolutely not, Brian. I mean, it's just that knowing that you can connect with someone with a story, an anecdote, or a little bit of a tip, just sharing and being real, raw with them allows for them to really connect with you. And although you don't get the opportunity to speak to every single person in your audience, if you do it right, you're connecting with them. And that is so powerful. I got to actually speak in front of about 80 students in Mexico City a couple weeks ago via Zoom. Now, that was the most amazing thing I've ever done because I don't speak a lick of Spanish, Ryan. But what I can tell you is that I could look into their eyes and I could see them yesing me and agreeing with me and nodding their head. And they were just enjoying the opportunity to speak to someone else. And that is what the power of speaking and inspiring and motivating, teens and students can do. And it's just amazing.
What would you say to entrepreneurs out there that, maybe their target market isn't teens or they're not kids, but they're looking to take the next level in their business? Would you recommend speaking from stage as a great marketing tool or not?
Oh, my God. It's the best marketing tool. I mean, I can tell you as a personal trainer, as a consultant, as a business professional, and a lot of people probably would think, oh, you know what? You are a natural. I was the farthest you could ever imagine from a natural. I mean, I was scared when the red dot came on a video or anything. I was terrified and I still get butterflies. But the more you do it, the better you get at it. And that's with anything, right? Practice, practice, practice. And as an entrepreneur, when you could go out and you can actually speak to someone and you can demonstrate what you do, your expertise or your product or service to them, there is never going to be anything. I don't care. Technology is not going to allow you to overcome that. Only the great ones will go to your door, knock on it and tell you, here's my widget. Here's my gadget. I got this. This is why it's the best thing for you. And if I tell any entrepreneur one thing, it's go to Toastmasters, get in front of your peers, learn how to speak in public, and it will change your business
and your life. I mean, it's amazing. I became a speaking addict. I could not get enough of being on stage. Not for myself. I just knew I was growing every time, but also for those people that were being impacted by the words coming from the mouth and the exercises that we were going through. And Toastmasters is a great example, is to get feedback. The most important part of getting better at anything is getting the necessary feedback to tell you those things. We were just talking about that earlier, Rahz, that we think we're doing something a certain way, and then we get feedback like, well, you actually need to change that up some because then it'll become more impactful. Like, wow. And it's one thing to hear the feedback, but you then need to put it into play and get that ego out of there. Because when it comes to this, that's where your ego is going to get hit in the beginning. until you realize that that feedback got you that much farther than you would never have gotten on your own, then you want it. You look for it. You seek it. Tell me. Rahz, I love hearing the truth. Even if it hurts a little bit, that tells me truly that that person has my best interests at heart. You did that for me, Rahz. We were talking about this before the show. You did that very thing. And I cannot tell you how thankful I am of you for doing that, for being honest with me straight. And it changed my direction in business almost that instant. It was very soon after there. So get the feedback and listen to it and decide on whether or not to implement it. But usually if you're talking with people who know what they're talking about, you just say, yeah, I'll implement it. You don't even question it. So yeah, speaking, I knew the answer to that one, by the way, Rahz. That was good. It is amazing. And people will think like, okay, what do you say to people like this, Rahz? So, okay, Rahz, you're in front of 80 people. I have an email list of 2,000. Why would I want to go travel? Why would I want to get in a hotel? Why would I want to get on stage and talk to just 80 people when I can just sit here and craft 20 emails and have them drip over the course of 3 months? Why would I want to go speaking?
Great question. Here's the number one reason why you want to do that. Because everybody can do that. See, it takes a select few who are willing to do what others can't do so that they can grow and rise higher than they'll ever rise. And I truly believe that if you're willing to get out there and talk to those 80 people, now we know that email is still a great marketing tool, but even the greatest of greats are still only under 10% of an open rate. So if you give me 80 people in a room, I'm going to have a much better conversion than 8. And it doesn't matter what my offer is because I know my message. And when you align your message with your offer and you got 80 attentive people who got out of their homes, got in their car, invested time and energy to come see you, and you deliver, there's no way that you're not going to get the way you want, the outcome that you want. And I really believe you got to mix both, but you got to get in front of people.
I'm going to test something real quick because you're dropping bombs of knowledge right here. That is awesome, my friend. That is awesome. And yes, speaking is so powerful. There's other things that I think of too, like writing a book. Once let's say I'm talking to Rahz and I don't know him. And then through the course of conversation, he brings up the fact they wrote a book. Well, his authority status in my mind just went up a big notch instantly. I don't even know what the book looks like. I've never read it. Doesn't matter. Then if he's talking more, yeah, when I was speaking on stage in front of 80 people the other day, wait, you're a speaker in my mind. Another notch. And so it raises your authority status. Quick story. I was working as a crew member for a speaker. It had 500 in the room. I was in the back of the room where no one else is allowed, just the team. And it was a U shape of tables. This guy came strolling back there and made himself comfortable in the back with us, standing up, and he's dressed nice, but I'm thinking, who the heck is this guy? What's he doing here? And I'm looking at my team members saying, thinking, should we boot this guy? No one was doing anything. So I just kind of hung out and gave him the stink eye. Well, then 2 minutes later, another one of my teammates, crew member, came over and started miking him up. Started putting a microphone on his lapel and giving him the power pack down, the transmitter pack. And instantly I went from stink eye to, oh, he's a speaker. Bang, way up here. And so I know this for a fact that, if you're a speaker and no one knew about it before, or even if they did, it just raises your authority status. So one great way to get moving, and then I'm going to hand it back to you, Rahz, but one great way is to do what we're doing right now, is to practice by doing live video. This is as close as you can get. And there's very little expense involved here compared to a live event. And so this is a great way to hone your craft, to get others on the show with you, interview them, people that will give you the feedback that are quote unquote better speakers than you are, in your opinion. So I'll just leave it there. Brian's talking too much now. I want this to be about Rahz. So you have done something amazing very recently, and you've overcome so many things. And then again, you did it again very recently, and that was due to this pandemic that came out. You had several boutique fitness locations in New York, one or more in Florida. I lost count, man. You were growing like crazy. And then something happened, this thing that starts with a C and ends with a 19. And you had to make a change. Can you take us down that path and what you did and how you pivoted and successfully came back up on your feet?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, we know that when one door closes, another opens. And so in 2020 was one of those years for me. I started out like everybody with a lot of huge goals. And I was going to take over the world and launch this new business and keep my personal training businesses going. And what I found is that at March 14th, when New York closed, I had 2 gyms, one in Florida, one in New York, and I had a consulting business. And I had just started up Rahz Motivates, my speaking and information business for teens. And boom, instantly, 3 businesses were shut down. We had to figure out what was going on. I tried to save them, tried to get a new manager involved, and wind up on December 31st closing the gyms for good. Now, yes, was it sad after 13 years closing a business that I built from scratch with a business partner? Absolutely. But as I knew, is if you're an entrepreneur, we're known for pivoting. We're known for coming back. And I always believe that a setback only sets up a great comeback. And I truly am now able to work on a project that I'm passionate about, which is inspiring and motivating teams. Now, this business isn't profit driven. Though there will be profit, it's not profit driven, it's passion driven. And that's what I want to impart and inspire anybody who's watching the show tonight. When you find something that's passion driven, it will drive your profits. It's going to get you to stay up late, get up early, and do the things that others won't do so you can have what others won't have. And it's like writing a book with your wife in a matter of a few months. It's like launching a new 12-week coaching program. It doesn't matter. You're going to find a way. The how will show because the passion is that deep. And that's what I had to do, Brian, over the last few months. I mean, literally, I got to tell you, I'm in startup mode. I'm doing everything from, washing dishes to cleaning the toilet, basically. But you know what? I'm having a blast doing it, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
So there's so much that came out right there. Listen to his attitude. You can either let your circumstances control your attitude, or you can let your attitude dictate your circumstances. That is what this man chooses. And here's the beautiful part to that. We all have a choice. You get to decide. So here's the brutal truth. If you're not where you want to be, it's not because of any outside factor. It is not because of mom or dad didn't give you that loan. It's not because the weather was bad. That's not because your car broke down. It's because of you and your decisions and what's going up in your beautiful brain. And it's time to, if that's the case, then it's time to clean up house a little bit. And there are great ways. Neuro-linguistic programming, NLP for short. That is what turned my life around going back now 9 years ago. And I haven't looked back. It's been amazing. Rahz, it was like, I was 47. I'm now 56. And I am the most excited about life than I've ever been in my life, continually. Retirement doesn't exist in my vocabulary. I mean, I just said it, of course, but I don't think about it. As long as my heart's beating and as long as I have enough energy to help people, I'm going to do it. That's just the way the good Lord wired me. So I'm just going to do it. That's it. And I know you're wired the same way. I mean, look at your face, man. You're just beaming and just this powerhouse of passion. Ooh, I like that. Powerhouse of passion. And I can only imagine, how kids will gravitate to you. When you're speaking on stage, man, you are the most attractive person. People want to hear more about what you're saying. Your energy level, your message is always, your preparation is second to none. I've witnessed this in person. You are a professional in every sense of the word. But you don't have the ego of a professional, if that makes sense. You are very approachable and likable. And I love you, man. I think we were separated at birth, in all honesty. We just have to be twins, separate at birth. I'm the older twin, of course, but But, oh, yeah. So going through business, some of us, not everybody, but some of us go through some speed bumps. We hit some setback. Oh, you said it. I'm thinking that you must have read Willie Jolly at some time.
Absolutely.
Yes, a setback is a setup for a comeback. I love that. Oh, and we've had many setbacks through. I mean, if you're not an entrepreneur, if you haven't, I'll just be straight up. If you haven't had failure after failure or setback after setback, then you haven't experienced what it is to be an entrepreneur. So what of those setbacks, I won't call them failures, what kind of setbacks have you experienced in your life in the entrepreneur space that really bubble up to the top where maybe it was devastating, but you learned something from it and were able to overcome and use that to catapult yourself even farther? Do any of those come to mind?
Oh, yeah, man. I can tell you that if you've been in business for more than 5 years, you have at least a handful of those opportunities to take and extract some lessons. One that I'm reminded of often, just because it's one that we were able to overcome. It's, you're looking at your bank account and you're going, oh, wow, I'm cash flow, basically poor. What am I going to do? And that's when you have to have a checkup from the neck up and go, what am I going to do differently? And the great Tony Robbins says you have to be strategically innovating. And I had to innovate my message and my offer to my audience. And that's where I went from doing what everybody else was doing in the fitness space to doing something that was specialized. And my partner and I decided we were going to specialize on working specifically with women through in a certain age that were suffering from one specific pain. And when we did that, our business catapulted because it allowed us to stand out, and we weren't going to be just blending in like vanilla ice cream with everybody else. That was one opportunity, and that's what I would, if anyone's watching this, look for a way that you can strategically innovate what it is you do so that you're different and you can create the better effect inside your business. And the second time was this, I would tell anybody, when you're starting a business, if you're working with a partner or you're working with someone else, just make sure you dot all your I's and cross all your T's in the beginning, because you don't know what the evolution of business is going to happen. And it happens to everyone, and it can crush great friendships. It can crush great relationships. And you don't want to put yourself at a situation later in life where something like COVID happens and everything changes from all warm and fuzzy to not so warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, not so warm and fuzzy. That's a good way of putting it. So yeah, oh my gosh, great lessons there for everyone. And I call it setting expectations with someone like a partner, even if it's a client or you are the client. And, I've gotten to where I've gotten really good at either setting expectations or being fully understanding in what they are of me. And it really goes both ways. And I've been through those mistakes as well, Ross, where that was not done in the beginning. And someone who was a friend is no longer a friend, and we don't even talk anymore. And it's sadder than heck. And it's ridiculous. And it did not need to happen at all, but it did. And I learned from it and moved forward with that information and learned from others. How do we keep that from happening again? And when you set expectations and you agree upon them, and maybe do it in writing, it doesn't have to be like a formal contract if you can, if you really like that person, if you know them. But setting expectations is huge in all facets of life, even with your spouse, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, where are we going to go eat? Well, let me tell you what the expectations are going to be. But all kidding aside, it's really important to know where each other is coming from and to agree on, like in the instance of a partner, what are your individual roles going to be? Get that figured out. If you got a partner, boy, that was one of the sticky points I went through. And it was just because we each had different expectations. It wasn't communicated, right? And so if you don't do that, if you do have somebody you work with, again, even if you're a client or you have a client, make sure that you've done as best as you can to spell out what they can expect from this relationship. And that includes, what is your role? Who's going to take support calls? Who's going to do the sales calls? Who's going to be on the shows and be the face? Maybe both, all that. I mean, and you won't have all of this lined out from day one, but you'll, as you're going, continue to communicate. It's like marriage. I mean, business and relationships are very similar, aren't they?
Oh, they're very similar. And when they go wrong just like a bad marriage.
Yeah. Thankfully, knock on wood, haven't had that experience yet with the marriage part. I married my high school sweetheart, and she is my why, and I love her every bit as much as I did from the day that I first fell in love. And yeah, I'm gonna get all mushy now.
Fuzzy. There we go, brother.
Yeah, I mean, you can't fake authenticity when it comes to love. I'm telling you. So let's turn the table now. Let's go to say, I'm sure you've had a lot of those moments where you've impacted somebody, maybe brought them to tears emotionally in a joyful way. what would you say has been to date your most satisfying moment in business? And feel free to tell a story if that's what brings up.
Absolutely. One that comes to mind is a client of mine, Renee, and she's just an amazing woman who's taken such an amazing transformation over the time. And I remember when she came to us, and she recalls this one time where she said, "You know what? I saw your ad on Facebook, and I clicked on it, and then I clicked off it. Then I saw it again, and I clicked on it, and then I filled out the form, and I was like, I hope he doesn't call." And knowing me, Ryan, I called instantly. And I called, and we got on the phone, and we started to have a great conversation. And I got her to come in. She sat down, told me her goals. And the woman that walked through the door was not, if you met her today, you would say, who is this woman? A powerful woman, a confident woman, an assertive woman, someone who knows what she wants and knows how to get it and has a heart of gold. You know, I mean, even throughout the times where she wasn't training with me, she was training with one of my trainers, and then he went on to start his own business. And she still to this day comes back and talks to me and sends me messages, positive always, and always gives love. And I see the transformation. She lost over 100 pounds, and she's just loving her life. And what's more important, it doesn't matter where she's doing it, she's loving her life, the new person that she created. And I had a little role in that and was a little bit of a catalyst, but she did the work. And that's what the business allowed. When you're in business and you're impacting people's lives, that's what's more important than any number or any amount of money that's in your bank account. And if you're watching this show, that's what business is about. We need to get business back to that, and not so much about the revenues and the profits and how much I'm earning, because if you do enough and you impact enough people, you're going to make the money you need for your business.
Amen to all of that. You know what? That was a bomb dropping moment, I got to tell you. I don't know how that's coming through. I just have it going back through my mic, but I have to do that. That's awesome. It is, it's imperative that more businesses like Rahz's flourish. And what I love and what I want to do is wish and pray that Rahz Slaughter becomes incredibly, incredibly wealthy. And why would I want that? Because I know him, and I know that what he will do with that wealth, yeah, and he will deserve to have fun with that wealth, by the way. And he will also take that wealth and grow his business and impact more teens and kids. He will scale his business. He will get more Rahz Slaughters, if that's even possible, to get on the stages and talk to kids in schools around the nation. And that's what the whole beautiful part about it. So I want you, Rahz, to become one of the wealthiest individuals on the planet because of what you do. And I hope and pray that happens. And here's the thing. We should all hope and pray that, not just me, Brian, just because I know Rahz. I think you get who he is by now. And when you do that, when you have those thoughts, it makes it easier. This is a secret, but it makes it easier for you to attain wealth. And that's not why I do it. I'm here to tell you that is not the reason. I want him to get the wealth so he can impact more lives. Period. End of story. A side effect of that is that the person wishing that upon someone else will have a better propensity of gaining wealth themselves. Because when you look at someone that's wealthy and you're saying all those negative things in your mind about, oh, they probably got it from old Uncle Harry, or, oh, why would they deserve it? Oh, they're just a rich bitch, that some people would say. And anytime you're doing that, you're basically putting up a wall for yourself to ever become wealthy. It just won't happen. If you can't love those who are making money, how could you love yourself? You can't. It's just, it's a mental thing. So do yourself a favor and start blessing those who are making money, who are succeeding, who are on their path to succeeding, and then take it another step and help them to succeed even more. That is what I love about this show, because we're showcasing Rahz Slaughter. And the whole purpose of this show is to get massive exposure for him, his brand, and his business. And every other guest that comes onto this show, that is my goal and mission for this show. It is not for Brian. I will get what comes out of it. And I have been, by the way. It has been unbelievable. After 2 years of doing this show, a lot of opportunities have opened up because of doing this show. So there's a lesson 2. Maybe you should start one and get some speaking practice going. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe Rahz should get into the speaker training business as well, because if anyone knows how to do it, he does. Anyway, off my soapbox, but wanted to throw that out there. I'm sure you've run across in your life many inspiring people. Like you mentioned a few already, you know, Tony Robbins. We talked about Willie Jolly. I listened to him on Audible, and that guy's full of energy. I love listening to him too. And there's just so many people that can impact us in great ways, and some that can impact us in negative ways. But let's look at the positive for now. If you were to choose at this stage in your life, let's make it easier. Up to this point where you are now, who would you say in your life, Rahz, has truly been what you would call your greatest inspiration?
Wow. I was recently interviewed in that question, and I have 2 people. The first one is my grandmother, and I have to show her beautiful face here. This is my lovely and amazing grandmother. She was the inspiration to everything for me for many years. And, you know, when you find someone who took a bus from Montgomery, Alabama to New York with not but a couple dollars in her pocket and a 3rd grade education, and was willing to make her own way because she wanted to run away from racism and discrimination, she just inspired me, and she never hated anyone. Didn't matter who came to her house. If she had a lick of food, everybody ate. If she had a place for them to stay, everybody had a warm place to put their head down. So she taught me a lot about being a man, being a good human, and that's the foundation. And the second person I mentioned already, who's had a huge impact on me, and I found him early on, about 18 years old, is Tony Robbins. And you know, I couldn't get through all of his books when I was 18 because reading was definitely a challenge for me. But over the years, I've read his books, went to his events, and I recently, with the whole 2020, I got COVID and my mind was getting a little bit clouded. I didn't have a clear vision of where I wanted to go and how I was going to get there. And I went back to my roots, did Unleash the Power Within 4 days with my amazing wife, sitting in my living room, jumping up and down, screaming, making my move, doing all the things that, you know, Tony makes us do. And I truly had a pivoting, just a moment goes, wow, that's what it was. And one of the things that I had to break through, and I have to share this with you, is that when you have a limiting belief, it can even sneak into our minds and inhibit us from truly moving forward and getting over fear and letting faith catapult us to success. Well, I was still holding on to some limiting beliefs of who I thought I was. I was Rahz. I was the motivator. I was the studio owner. I was this. But actually, all I was a person who needed to release the fear and let faith take me to where I needed to go. And when I did that, I came up and I'm like, I'm certain that I know that what I'm doing right now is going to inspire and motivate the 1 million teens and students to reach their goals. And I don't know how I'm going to get there every day. I don't know who's going to be a major part of that. Brian, you helping me out and allowing me to be on your show and share this message is part of that mission and helping me get there. And you're part of the catalyst. So Tony Robbins, I give so much credit because, you know, he gave me that instant spark I needed to find that passion again when I was in a dark moment in my life. And I was kind of thinking, which way do I go? And on the surface, we can all fake it, right? I don't believe in faking it till you make it because most people can see right through that. I believe I had to do some work and release some pain so that I could find this new passion.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, that's quite a transition also from something you were passionate about for 13 years as a fitness, you know, it's so easy for us to identify with what we did to make that who we are to some extent. And that's natural. And the fact that you were aware, you know, it's always the first step is being aware. And then the second one is taking care of that and eradicating that fear. Another word for fear is hesitation or resistance that we often talk about when it comes to business. It's not that, you know, fight or flight kind of fear. It's just that fear of the unknown, not knowing, you know, we're always telling ourselves this negative self-talk. That's who do you think you are that you can do this and things like that, or you're too young, you're too old, all those limiting beliefs that hold so many people back. And this is key. I want everyone, the audience, to understand and recognize this man has put a lot of work into and on and for himself. And that is to a person, everyone I know personally that has achieved success has done that.
Yes.
And if you're not putting in that work yet, when would now be the right time to do that? And how can you go about starting? Reach out to Rahz, reach out to myself. We have connections. We know where we can take you. Depends on where you are today. But the thing is if you don't act now, when will you? And yep. I'm not here to sell you anything. I don't think Rahz is. I don't think he's an NLP instructor or a Tony Robbins disciple. Maybe, I don't know. But Tony Robbins has, teaches those techniques and things with NLP. I did not ever learn from him. I learned from others. And NLP is a proven science. And everything you're saying about limiting beliefs is absolutely true. When you can eradicate those, and you can, the science exists, it works. Are you willing to just take 7 minutes out of your life to go through the process? Timeline, I love it. So thank you. As Rahz is talking, I hope everyone watching and listening is understanding that I hope you're writing notes voraciously, because there are so many nuggets that are buried just under the surface of the soil that as he talks. That's why I'm kind of lifting them out for those that may not be catching them. And I just want to impart on people that, this is a man you want to model. You want to model success. You want to model a successful attitude, a successful mindset, a successful husband, a successful author, a successful business. I mean, he's handling all facets of his life in ways that make people successful. I keep saying that word over and over, but it's true. And so this is a guy to model. There's nobody that works like this guy. I mean, when you moved to Florida, dude, I was like, wow. And you had no fitness center, no nothing, and you hustled and you got a facility and you just started making it happen. And I didn't know you got up to 2 of them in Florida, but he's doing this on his own by hustling and working hard. But he did the work to get the foundation set, and that foundation was right up here, right above his shoulders. So thank you for sharing all of this with everyone, because it is important for people to understand. It takes work, it takes effort, and if you're willing to put it in, then you can reap the rewards, and you will reap the rewards. You just keep going, keep stacking those pebbles. Rahz is starting over. He's on this show. He wrote a book with his wife. He's doing what it takes to get back out there in a different brand, in a different direction. It's amazing. And look, how many people, I think, who is it? Is it Richard Branson? That there's certain people that have been incredibly wealthy that have lost everything multiple times and found ways to get back up. Rahz is just following that model. He's just getting back up. Life is going to throw stuff at you. Get back up over and over. And if you're trying to figure out, I don't know what to do, then, let's connect with Rahz, and I'm sure he can help you do that. Connect with me, connect with somebody, that has gone through the hardships that we all go through to get business going. Oh my goodness. So this book, what inspired you to write this? You and your wife got together, and that's amazing. That is so warming to me that a spouse couple would do this together. What was the inspiration, and how did that conversation go with your wife when you both were talking about, hey, you want to do this together?
Wow, you're going to love this one. So Brian, you know me, I didn't read a book. Like you said, I knew how to read, but I grew up with a reading disability. And that's what the school labeled me when I was younger. So I believe that limiting belief that they imparted on me. And so I had a fear of reading in public. I had a fear of reading in the back of the room. And when I read to myself, when the words I couldn't pronunciate, I would skip them, which lowered my comprehension. So reading was not something that came natural for me. And my wife and I were talking. And when she met me, one of the things that I moved to Florida is a huge library. And if you've ever moved, you know that it costs a lot to bring stuff books. And I wouldn't get rid of them, because once I learned how and taught myself how to read, they became my most prized possessions, because I knew if you took everything away, and I had my books, I could always go back to this book. And I saw one of the books you said, one of the first books you had was The Magic of Thinking Big, on your list, on your library. Well, that book's right above my head there next to that basketball. And that was such an inspiring book. But what brought us to this is that I kept telling her, I have this deep desire to write a book for a preteen, and that teen was me. What I needed at 13, some guidance, a mentor, someone to tell me some of the habits that we talk about in here. Like, what is success and what does it mean? And I didn't know that because I had no role models in my life. My father left my mother while I was in the hospital. My grandmother had a 3rd grade education. My mom never finished high school. So success, I had no clue. Jim Rohn says it leaves clues. The clues that were left for me were not going to be successful. And I got to tell you, and I told my wife, I know there are a lot of teens out there, especially in the inner city, in the Title I and Title II schools that are struggling or going home and their lights may not go on. And they're dealing with, family issues and things like that. And she's an amazing writer. And I always knew that when she gets her fingers on a keyboard, it's just, poetry and words just fly together. And I said, we need to do this together. And I wanted her because one of her goals was to be a published author. And, I had 2 books that I completed in which that was a great goal. But coming together, we sat down, we had this conversation. I said, Michelle, I know that I have these frameworks and these things that are in my head, but I want you to help me get them out and put them on paper. But I also know you have a unique story. And her story was very different than mine. She had a different upbringing, but there was pain, there was trauma. And I knew that other little girls were going through this. They didn't have the ideal body type, or they didn't feel inspired, or they didn't look a certain way, right? And we all know who we're talking about. And I said, you need to inspire them because I have a voice, but my voice is going to resonate with the little boy because I remember the pain and I can share that story stronger and more authentic than anyone. But we put these 2 stories together and I believe we're going to hit gold. And we're going to help a lot of kids not only identify their pain, but how to overcome that pain and really get that momentum they need to really create their best version. And when we came, she jumped on board, she dove in, and, we had to write it and rewrite it because, there was times we'd read it and we're like, no way, this is just not the way it needs to be. It has to be this way. And we got it out and I'm excited. April 20th, man, a couple weeks. Yes. We're going to let this book go, and I can't wait to let it out there and get it to as many hands as possible.
Yes, and I love the fact that you have her involved as well because, not all the little girls they're not going to align with what you're saying and vice versa, right? The boys aren't going to align with her. And the fact that you both are doing this together, now you've covered that as well. And I'm curious, is your wife going to be joining you on any of these speaking circuits and share the stage?
Absolutely. She is definitely, she will definitely be doing that. We're working on some different things. We have a buddy of mine. We got a show, I think, in a week and a half, she'll be coming on. She's not camera shy at all. She's really articulate, but she is the opposite of me in times. She's an accountant. So she loves to get behind and crunch numbers, and she does that. But when she starts to tell the story of, how she had to overcome some things and how she got to where she is, and she's still working. See, we believe in Kaizen, and we're constantly always improving. We know we're never going to arrive, and we're always peeling back the onion and asking ourselves, how can we improve today and make today a better day than yesterday?
Power couple right there. Love it. You are both blessed to have each other. Phenomenal.
Thank you.
Brother, I cannot believe this. I just looked at the clock.
It goes fast, right?
It does every time. It's always the fastest when I'm having the most fun, and that's this one. I was like, good grief, already. So I like to ask this one question of every one of my guests that comes on the show. I don't even remember if I asked it of you the first time around because I wasn't doing it from day one, but hopefully you've forgotten. And because I like the authenticity of this response. And in fact, I'll be honest with you, even if you do know what the question is ahead of time, your answer will most likely have changed. It's an amazing question. And it's very profound, and it can get actually even a little personal. And it's just a powerful, powerful question I love to end the show with. But before we do that, I did promise those watching live, I didn't forget, that you can win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort, compliments of thebiginsidersecrets.com. So earlier I said, pay attention, stay here. Now, Rahz also will give you permission, I think, to go ahead and just for a moment, pull out that little cell phone of yours because you'll need your messaging app. So pull that up. I'll bring that up on the screen. And to enter, what you do is you bring up your messaging app, and where you would type the name of the person you're going to send a text to, instead put in this phone number, and that is 314-665-1767. And then where you would type the message, where the emojis and things like that go. Well, no emojis, just 2 words separated by a dash or a hyphen. So the 2 words are peak, P-E-A-K, dash, vacation, all together, no spaces. Again, the number real quick, write this down. We're going to take it off the screen, 314-665-1767, and then put in the message peak dash vacation. We get to give one of these away every single show. It's an amazing, amazing gift, all because of Jason Nast and the biginsidersecrets.com. So thankful to him and of his whole enterprise for giving us the ability to do this. So it's an amazing, amazing gift. All right, we're back for the big question, Rahz. So there was quite a bit of a buildup. Yeah, he's getting warmed up. So here's one thing that will help a lot. You're a pro, and this isn't going to phase you anyway. But the cool thing about this question is there is no such thing as a wrong answer. It does not exist. In fact, it's just the opposite. The only correct answer is your answer. Yes, that's what makes it personal. That's it. We're not going deep into your personal life or anything like that. And so you know how it works with NLP. It's just going to be the first thing that comes into your mind. That's going to be the right answer. And that first thing doesn't always come right away. And that's okay, because whenever it comes to you, it's just perfect because it's you. So it doesn't matter if there's idle airtime. It doesn't matter if you get it right away. Either way is absolutely perfect. So now that we've calmed the waters and everything is in alignment, are you ready for the question?
I'm ready, sir.
All right. Rahz Slaughter, how do you define success?
How do I define success? Wow, I love that question. And it's just a great transition to when I wrote this book with my wife, we had to define that for ourselves because we asked the reader to do that. So for me, success has changed. And I'm sure it changes for a lot of entrepreneurs as they mature in life. If you were to ask me at 18, success meant having a flashy car, a nice watch, and money in my pocket. Today, success means freedom. Freedom to do what I want, when I want it, with whomever I want, for as long as I want. But it doesn't have a monetary value. It just means that I have the ability to do things that I want to do. And I'm not connected to an alarm clock or anyone else's clock. That is truly amazing. I love the opportunity I have now in life to have that ability as an entrepreneur to wake up and be inspired at 5:30, not have to drudge and pull myself out of bed, or to even when I get to train my wife as my first client. It's just an amazing thing to have that. So success equals freedom for me.
Freedom. I love it. I have that's my definition is, I call it liberation. Same thing. And it's so many things, but that's the one that comes to the top because it enables us to do those things, to be with our wives, to love them, to love our family, to be present. It's like, it's the chunked up version of it, just covers it all.
Yes.
The cool thing about it, though, those that I've asked, no 2 people yet, and I've done 140 plus shows, no 2 people yet have answered it the same way. I find that very intriguing. So with your permission, I'll ask this here, but I'll reach out again. Down the road, I'm going to compile all of these answers and into a book. And I already got the URL. It's howdoyoudefinesuccess.com. And would love to have your name in that book with your answer transcribed and just have a list of everyone's definition of success and make that an inspirational book for people to pick up.
I would love to be a part of that project. That would be awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh, man, I would love to have you in it. Absolutely. What a contributor. And then before we go, I want to let people know how to reach out to you, how to get in touch with you, how to book you for upcoming events with their teens or their schools. I'm going to put up your website real quick. I don't know if that's where you want people to go, but that's a good segue.
That is the place, rahzslaughter.com. That's my website. You can see a speaker reel of me there. You can also link up any of the blog in the top right there. We have, and if you're a parent of a teen, I highly recommend you go to the Rahz Motivates on YouTube. Every week, I'm going to be adding new video tutorials and trainings on just, ways of navigating the craziness of the teen brain. And I truly believe that that's one of my true passions now, is the creating content for parents, educators, and influencers of teens. So this is where you can go. Those are some of the speaking topics that I speak on: leadership, overcoming obstacles, turning those obstacles into opportunity, and social emotional learning for all grades, but specifically from 7th to 12th grade is what I love to do, and getting in front of the students and just kind of having a blast and learning about them and sharing how they can navigate through this life we call growth and maturity.
What a stage in life that is so ripe for needing assistance, 7th grade through high school. That's a very tumultuous time for many. We all, I think, that have gone past those ages have experienced it to some degree in our lives. I mean, going through being a teenager by itself is pretty violent at times. And so to be able to have somebody to go to that can help you navigate the waters, especially when you're at those very vulnerable ages, this is an amazing thing. So look at this. You can download this one sheet right here. And if you're looking for them on YouTube, so all you need to go to is this website, and that's rahzslaughter.com. It's on the screen. For those of you listening, it's spelled R-A-H-Z. That's Rahz, and then Slaughter, SLAUGHTER.com, rahzslaughter.com. And then you'll want to scroll down to almost the absolute bottom, and you'll see icons. And on the far left, the black icon that looks like a YouTube icon. Click that, and that's where you can find what he was just talking about. And you can also locate him on Facebook, Tumblr, LinkedIn, Instagram, and TikTok. Wow, I got him. Look at that. And this is, I know the show's, we're bringing it to a close, but this is yet another lesson. Look at all the social media platforms he has a presence on. This is what I preach all the time. I've developed a program called Carpet Bomb Marketing, talked about in the very beginning of the show. And that's what it's about, is about saturating the marketplace with your message. And that means hitting every possible platform you can within the limits of the resources you have today. And as those resources grow, you grow your reach, and you just keep going, wash, rinse, repeat. And Rahz is a perfect example of someone who knows what it takes to get the job done, to become successful, and to change lives, which is the most important part of what we all successful entrepreneurs do on this planet. And that is why I am so blessed to be able to call Rahz Slaughter my friend. He's also my mentor. He's given me some incredible advice, and it's literally changed my life for the better. And so I appreciate you, my friend, and my birth brother from twins that were separated. I appreciate you. I mean, the likeness, come on. It's too obvious.
I can see it.
Obvious. Come on, man. It's awesome. Your guns are bigger than mine, but I got some. They're there.
You're swinging.
Rahz, man, it has been an absolute joy to have you back on. I know it's getting late there in Florida. I don't want to keep you up all night. And also thank you for everyone who watched, who listened. And I hope you got as much out of this as I do. I always get a ton. I have notes to show for it. Quite a few, by the way, sitting next to me. Rahz, I want to say thank you again. I appreciate you as a friend, and I love you like a brother, and keep crushing it. And anything I can do to keep helping you to raise the bar for you and your business, I'm here for you. It's going to be a great ride.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate the opportunity. As always, thank you for all that you do for the communities of the entrepreneurs, showing us exactly how to get out there and market properly, get our message out there and on multiple platforms. And I'm just right back to you. Thank you so much. And I'm modeling you as well. We talked about that off camera just before. So I'm going to be learning how to get my own show up and running as well. Thanks, buddy. Have a great evening.
Yeah, and see, that's how it works. Collaboration, and you don't all have the same skills and talents, so why not feed off of each other? Because that's what we love to do, is help each other. And it's been a wonderful show. Thank you, Rahz. On behalf of this amazing young man, Rahz Slaughter, I am your host, Brian Kelly of the Mind Body Business Show. We will be back again very, very soon with another episode coming up in just a couple of days. Until then, have a great, great evening. So long and be blessed, everyone. Take care.
Boom.
Thank you for tuning in to the Mind Body Business Show podcast at www.themindbodybusinessshow.com. My name is Brian Kelly.